Well, good day, folks. Any Newfoundlanders here tonight? Because we got a special guest, the star of Logie Bay himself, member of the traditional music group Shanneyganock, and a Newfoundland treasure, Mr. Chris Andrews. He's in the house to chat with our host, Sarah Cave. So listen in now to Sarah's conversation with Chris Andrews.
The first question I got for you is what got you started playing and singing music?
Well, I would have to blame my dad and my grandfather and my uncle for that. I left my uncle out the first time. They were always playing traditional music around the house. So Ryan's Fancy and Sons of Air, Carlton Show Band, and I used to see these guys and their TV shows and their music and say, what a great life to travel around singing and making people happy. And little did I know that 30 years later, I'd still be doing it.
What was the first song you wrote and performed?
I don't recall what was the first song we performed, but I would assume back in those days it was probably like the Wild Rover or the Black Velvet Band or those classic old Irish pub songs. The first song I actually wrote that was recorded was a song called The Long Haul, which I wrote with Gary O'Driscoll, who's a very famed songwriter. Like he wrote Out from St. Leonard's and Christmas in the Harbor and a bunch of songs like that. Called The Long Haul, about Newfoundland and Labradorians having to move away from Newfoundland and longing to be home, but having to move away for work. So that was in the mid 90s.
What's your favorite song of yours to perform?
These days, I really enjoy doing a song that I just wrote and the band plays called "Live Until I Die." People are really enjoying that song. It's very popular, and it's great to see everybody singing along and being happy to a new song.
My mom loves that song.
Excellent.
How did the band get started?
Well, it's a bit of a fable. Like sometimes wild stories happen, and I just come home from going to school in the mainland, and I was on a work term, and I was doing some solo gigs around, and I was playing at a place called Aaron's Pub, and I got double booked with this guy Mark Hiscock, who I'd never met before, but I knew who he was because Mark had been on TV since he was like 5. And instead of sending one of us home, Ralph O'Brien, the owner, and he's a legendary guy too, Sons of Air, and sort of the godfather of traditional music. Instead of sending one of us home, he said, "Why don't you guys get up and play together?" And we've been doing it ever since.
What do you like most about performing?
I think I love seeing people having a good time and having fun. And so to me, that's a lot of it, too. And also the pride it puts in our province, especially when we tour, giving people an opportunity to come out and get their Newfoundland and Labrador on and have fun and see other Newfoundland and Labradorians and just celebrate the cool place we live.
How many instruments do you know how to play?
Me? None.
None?
I play the guitar, but I would never say I'm a guitar player. But I'm more of a front guy and singer. I do play the guitar. I leave the multi-instruments to the other guys.
What do you like least about performing?
After 30 years in it, the travel is very difficult. Especially these days with flights being canceled and moved and the weather changing so much. And we spend a lot of time in airports and a lot of time in cars and vans. And so that can be, a bit tangly sometimes, and I know a lot of people look at our lives and go, "Oh, I'd love to do that," but it's not nearly as easy as it might seem.
Do you have a favorite performance?
There's been a lot of cool ones over the years. I always love coming. We always love playing home for like Iceberg Alley or George Street Festival or our Shanty show at Christmas. But some memorable ones that stick out was when we played in the actual North Pole about 10 years ago, which was an amazing experience. It took us 2 days to get there, and we played for the military up there in the North Pole. Other memorable ones, maybe when we played on Broadway for the opening night of Come From Away, which was really cool. There's not many Newfoundland bands can say they played on Broadway. We also played in the desert at a festival representing Canada and Qatar, which was really cool. Like, it's been all our dreams and more, which is, it's been a cool ride for sure.
What is the best advice you'd give to an upcoming Newfoundland performer?
I would say stay true to yourself. Do what you want to do. I know it can be difficult because you got to try to keep your gigs and people there and stuff, but try to be as honest to yourself as you can and play what you want to play, and people will come to it. Just stick to the formula. And it's not easy, and it's getting harder throughout the years with all this different technology, AI, and downloading and streaming and all this stuff. So it can be a difficult grind, but if you really want it, it is there. It can happen.
You've recently released Live Till I Die, as you mentioned. What was your thought process while writing that song?
Well, it's funny. A lot of my songs I take from when I talk to people when we travel and tour. And that particular song, we were playing in Fort McMurray, and I was outside the venue during sound check. Just it was a nice sunny day, and this gentleman came along, and he knew who I was, and he was going to the show that night, and he was just telling me about himself, and he said, "Boy, that's it. I'm going to live till I die." And I was like, you know what? That's a pretty catchy thing, and so didn't. It's not a song about him per se, but he certainly gave me the idea of how to write that song.
What was or would be your favorite collaboration?
Well, I always enjoy singing and playing with other people, but I would say that what we've done with Bud Davies has been, really cool, and to have someone like Bud touring with us and traveling with us now, and he's such a gentleman, he's such a Newfoundland icon that playing with Bud is got to be well up there on the coolest things.
What would you tell younger you about making music?
I would tell me that there was no need to do it as hard as we did it when we were younger. I certainly would have changed a little bit, not too much, but knowing now, knowing what I know now versus what I didn't know back then, there was definitely an easier path to get to where we were. But when you're young and you're trying to figure it out, you can only just do what's there. So I think that's what I would tell myself, that be a bit easier on ourselves, and take our time, and enjoy the ride more than be so driven to get there.
What was it like starting off?
It was not easy. It was a lot of fun, but it wasn't very much money, and we were all jammed in a small little van, and a bunch of us per hotel room, and trying to make it work. And you had to have a lot of determination, and you had to have a bit of luck. But as we always say, good luck is the residue of hard work. And, we just keep working towards it, and working and working and working, and, building it. And it's like anything. If you want, to be music, or if you want to go into business, or if you pick a different career, the harder you work, the better you'll do.
Do you still get nervous when you're performing?
Always. Yeah, I would think that if I wasn't nervous, it's time to give up. Because people spend a lot of money and they travel to see you, and you want to make sure you give them the best time you can. So more nervous about making sure that you do a great show than actually. And I find we don't play for a lot of small crowds, but sometimes we do with corporate events and stuff like that. And I find them harder than the big, massive ones. So, still a bit of nerves even to this day, 30 years later.
Where's your favorite place to perform?
Home, always. Uh, Anywhere in the province is great. Now, we enjoy playing everywhere, but especially home. I'd be lying if I said I didn't love Iceberg Alley and George Street Festival. I mean, there are thousands of people, and everybody knows the songs, and they're singing along, and they're having a great time. it's a really good feeling.
Are you currently working on releasing new music?
We are. We have a new record coming out now in June, celebrating our 30th anniversary. And it'll be a full-length album of all original songs written by the band. So we're pretty excited about that, and hoping everybody else will like it too.
That's all the questions I have for you.
Oh, excellent.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're really good at it, and it was my pleasure to do this with you today, and I wish you guys nothing but the best with your podcast.
I have one more question for you, though.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind, can you sing a little bit of one of your songs?
Sure. What will we do? I got no guitar here with me right now, so how about this one? Well, Casey wore his brand new hat to Murphy's Wake last night. Well, someone stole his hat and boys and started off to fight. Well, Casey wrecked the furniture, the radio as well. He nearly woke the corpse up, but he began to yell. Oh, I had a hat when I came in. I hung it on the rack. And I'll have a hat when I go out or break somebody's back. I'm a decent man, I am, and I don't want to shout. But I had a hat when I came in, and I'll have a hat when I go out. How's that?
That was perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome, Sarah. Have a great day and keep up the great stuff.
You too. Thank you very much.